one thing we've been talking about, we don't have a process or criteria yet, but what we want to do is we want to open up the project so that people that have, not only have YDNA results, but people that have autosomal results can also join the project and be part of the discussion and the activity feed. We will have to come up with what the criteria are. We'll have to validate that they do actually connect to Reynolds, but it won't necessarily have to be on the males line. There's some advantages and disadvantages to this. One, autosomal DNA is a whole other, it's a totally different type of test that gives totally different types of results. In some cases, they can be very hard to understand, sometimes very easy to misinterpret. So we're going to have to figure out the best way to handle that, but we think it will open up the membership to bring in a lot more folks that are connected to the Reynoldses. And they'll be able to contribute to the project also. We may have mentioned before that there is a separate Mick Reynolds project, the Family Tree DNA, with 22 tested men. But the project had no administrators. Nobody had volunteered. Perhaps the last one passed away or just wasn't interested in still doing it. But it was an orphaned project, and we decided that this is something that we could wrap in. We won't manage it as a separate project. We will wrap it into the Reynolds project, so it will also include additional Mick Reynoldses. There are already some Mick Reynoldses, but we're going to include these other men. And we will place them in the appropriate group, whether they are grouped together or whether they are grouped across different Reynolds buckets, we will see. Even within their own group, they also have very distinct groups.
Do you remember like we were talking about the Reynolds book, the original Reynolds genealogy book that was published, the first one? And it has lots of different spellings and stuff like that. That's whether those lines.
1973, we're looking at that. That's the one we were looking at?
Yeah. No, not the one we were looking at. I'm saying the one that somebody spoke about it. I have a copy of it, but it's on the website. But
yes.
it has not, it's not just like McReynolds is in it too, I think, and the Reynolds and that type of thing. Because the guy was trying to do it from a traditional genealogical standpoint, trying to do what you're doing with DNA, which is putting these all together, in one context, which is.
So they will be joining our group. We're going to continue as we discussed, looking to specify and make more precise the signatures of the RFA line ancestors. We're well along the way with the James and Deborah line. There are also participants in one of the other clusters that have been working together. One of them already has a big Y, another just ordered a big Y test. So they are already working on this for their line. We'll be providing consulting on the technical aspects with it. We'll be looking for innovative financing solutions. I don't know, can we do something to have a mechanism that people can, as they pay their dues, they could say, oh, I want to donate a little bit of extra money to go to the DNA project? I don't know. It'd be good to know if we could do something like that. And we're going to be looking for ways for seed money to look at other critical RFA lines. We're also going to add something to where people can choose to self-report their lineage on an activity page within the project that would be visible to the other members. Especially as we bring in autosomal tested folks, the lineage won't be father, son, father, son, father, son, so it'll help if they can spell out their exact connection in a simple way. But these are things we're looking forward to in the next year, and I think there'll be a lot of interesting things to do. If folks have questions for discussion now, fire away. If you have one-on-one sort of things, we should cover them in detail separately. Yes?
So my male line is with my great-grandfather. So is my YDNA test count?
I don't know if I understand your question. You're saying, so you don't know the father of your, did you say your grandfather?
My great grandfather was a Reynolds.
Yes.
But I come from his daughter, who was a
Ah.
Reynolds.
Yes, so your Y chromosome should be connected to the Harrises
Right.
and would do well in the Harris project, for example. If you wanted to get a sample that would be relevant for the Reynolds project, you would need to find a brother of your great grandmother that has some living descendant, and if you want, we can talk about specific strategies for doing that.
A descendant of a brother of his great grandmother. Right?
Sorry?
A descendant of a male descendant of his
descendant of your
brother.
great grandmother. Is it great? Yes. You'd have to find a male Reynolds name.
Okay.
So the details are not sticky. Okay. Thank you all very much. Feel
Thank
free
you.
to fire away questions by email anytime.
Before we go on a break, I just want to clarify, we have 3 more presentations today. The business meeting we're going to do last.
Right.
And then Regina, you have a presentation?
Yes.
And I wanted to take you live onto Family Tree and make sure you know everything in there that you can use, and make sure you've given Tommy and I everything that we need, so we don't have to seek you out. And I'm happy to do it over the phone, but I can at least show you what we would like to have in there. So I just know the business meetings last. Regina,
Right.
It's up to you.
As far as